Hello, guys. This is a short debate. I guess we can pick it up again if it's getting heated and we have to cut it off anyway. So this is Silvio D. Linton, and I'll be debating
With Oladio.
Oladu. Hey. Okay. And the topic is beauty competitions are irrelevant, or like, unnecessary or useless. So Oladu, what's your position on this, or what do you want to defend? Which side?
Um, to be honest, I want to hear how you would support it, so I'm gonna argue against it.
Okay, cool. All right, so I will be arguing for beauty competitions, and Oladu will be arguing or against beauty competitions. Yeah.
hmm
All right. Um. So could you give your, I guess, like, opening statement?
I think we've kind of entered a new era in terms of feminine ideals, maybe, and I feel like beauty competitions are pretty much everything that old ideals would embody, and the whole idea that the most beautiful win really isn't as applicable in a society that is trying to become more equal because, obviously there are certain ideals that not everyone is going to fulfill, and men certainly don't go through these things. So I would assume that we wouldn't put women through the same things, but I feel like that's often not the case in a lot of society. I think women are more judged based on their looks. And so to hold contests for this kind of thing is just reinforcing the issue.
Okay. Is that our pretty much it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a wrap.
All right. So I think beauty competitions are beneficial. They shouldn't be scrapped completely. I'm pretty sure that there are small other positives, aside from, and I think that trump the negatives of it. Say, preparing one for public speaking, being able to articulate themselves properly, um, things along the lines of, I guess the first one is really getting rid of that fear of being on stage. Um, and I think that's something that's valuable in society now, or in our culture now. Being able to stand up, I'll say on a whim, and be able to speak your ideas, speak your ideals.
I would say that's valuable as well, but I think there are better means to do it. Like, I'd say that you can publicly speak and grow comfortable with the whole lot without going like through such a kind of objectifying process as trying to argue for your beauty.
So you said it was kind of objectifying. I think that that, like, thinking, that way of thinking, saying that it's objectifying, that's what's holding it back from being something, being more than what it's traditionally been. So I'm not an expert, but I'll kind of comfortably say that in the past, beauty competitions were more a way to establish yourself as and then, like, as a woman. That was like a defining way to assert your femininity. And if I were to try to reflect this in for men as well, if there were a male beauty competition, you're trying to show off your masculinity, and that was like a way, in the past, that was beneficial, um, that could be beneficial. I'm sorry. And so you said in these day and age, that that kind of self promotion is objectifying. I think that's the people that call it objectifying in this day will of course see it as objectifying. That's I'm not going to call you out on fallacy or anything, but that's kind of um, what's that one? You look for it, so you find it, or
Mm.
because you're looking for it, you'll find it. I'm forgetting the words that define that kind of thought process. But I think that if you're looking at beauty competitions or what they should be today, then you should be looking for, I'd say, empowered people, people that don't want to conform to the whatever standard that it was. And if you're sitting back and looking at the old, thinking the old way, then that's bad on you. That's bad to you. And you should be holding the people that are projecting themselves, that are putting themselves out there to a higher standard, and not just saying that, oh, you're there to show off your body.
So, but I'm wondering, like, if people show off their body for the right reasons. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with flaunting what you got, but I think that it's too important, and this kind of reinforces that issue. Like, people think far too much about it, and it kind of alienates other people who don't have a lot to show off.
So what would you do to change that though then? Or is so you're saying that you should just completely get rid of the uh, completely get rid of beauty competitions, completely get rid of beauty passion pageants. Um, do you think that you can take that platform and make it something better? Why is getting rid of it completely a better option?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I like what it stands for. Um, Also, I feel like it's not something that's really necessary for us to have. And I feel that some people could find it kind of like it tells them that, you know, I feel like a common thing would be for people to think that they're not good enough because, they would never be able to enter one of these things like, oh, I'm definitely not that beautiful. I'm definitely not that pretty. Something like that. And maybe that's like a far more legitimate fear for some people than others. Like, I guess I'm not very afraid of the sort of thing, but I'm not the kind of person that would enter one of these contests.
Oh, so it sounds like you're, I guess, against it just because it's not the kind of thing that you'd be doing. Is
No,
that what I'm
that's
getting?
not true.
So why should I not enter a beauty pageant?
Oh God, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry. Um, so I think I didn't really get what you were saying then before. So I'm sorry if I'm making I guess like a mistake in my reinterpretation of what you're thinking. But you said
No, that's fine.
something to the effect of you don't like what beauty pageants stand for, um, and it's not something that you would do. I think that's the last train of thought that I was getting.
I mean, I definitely reinforce that it is not something that I would do, but I'm not sure there's anything inherently wrong with it other than the fact that I think it's just like there are better things we'd be doing in society than, you know, competing to be the most beautiful. God, this has gone downhill already. I have not defended my side very well.
All right, so side is saying that we can use beauty pageants as a platform. So use the existing platform of beauty pageants to do something more. Um, I attended my first beauty pageant, I think 2 months ago or 1 month ago. It was the Miss Black and Gold pageant, and so before that, I was skeptical about pageants. Um, I've seen, I guess, a a version of them that's pretty radical, I guess. I won't say radical, more like extreme, um, in pop culture, um, where I forgot the name of it, but it's like some lady in Texas or something is like dressing up her kids and making them, behave a certain type of way. Um, and that was just overwhelmingly negative. Um, like overwhelmingly negative. And that's something that I wouldn't want to support. Uh, so like forcing on the old ideas, I think that's really bad. But to get rid of the beauty pageant in the old way, like, like getting rid of the old, notion of beauty pageants, that's beneficial. But also using that platform is super valuable because it reaches out to people that may not already um, be interested in doing other things, and perhaps they have an affinity to the idea of being beautiful. But then, who's defining beautiful? Um, I think then that is where beauty pageants have some kind of power, and then after that, um, can the individual that's participating, I guess, reclaim beautiful and redefine it? Because I think that redefinition would make them an even stronger competitor.
And I would agree that the one that you attended is kind of different from what I would have expected, and that it was like far more politically charged, and it definitely wasn't all about physique and things like that. It was about like, you know, what do you have to offer, your intelligence, your education, your upbringing, and opinions on major issues in politics. And I would say that, I mean, while there were differing answers, it was definitely far more positive than it could have been. But I also feel that the immediate thought of like one of these events is definitely not about that, and it's more about like personal beauty. And I know that outside of America, like beautiful American women are commonly thought of as like very fake, and you know, obviously cosmetic surgery is something that goes on, not sure how often, and I feel like those sort of stereotypes are only common because of this perception and because of these types of events and ideals. Yeah. Hello?
Hmm. Yeah. So I understand the reinforcement part that you were talking about there, um, and I think that's I get that is the inherent negative side of it. The fact that it can, and in many ways does stay in that old mind frame, that old thought process. It's quite negative and pretty belittling of the other amazing things that people can do instead of, and I won't even say instead of, in addition to being beautiful. Um, because, I mean, everybody has some kind of thing that they've got going for them. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical beauty. It doesn't have to be prowess, like being an amazing researcher, um, because everything, I could hear an argument saying that you should celebrate individuality, and say if one way that you celebrated individuality was in, you felt that your physical like awesomeness, was really important to you. I mean, all the people that go to the gym, and I'm pretty sure that there are also ulterior motives to people that go to the gym. You know,
Hmm.
you hear a lot of talk about, oh, I'm trying to get my beach body back. The entire beach atmosphere, that's like a sexual hunting ground. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
just like
like
to flaunt, who you are, so or who you are, like what you have too. And I think that, I mean, you're not. I'm not saying that you're coming out bashing beach people, but it's a similar thing, except it's just in a different way. Um, so I'll concede to the, having parents force their children into, or no, I won't say force, having parents persuade their children to enter beauty pageants. That's a negative thing. It's and that definitely needs to change. However, things like the Miss Black and Gold pageant that I went to, that has opportunity to be really positive. And other pageants, say I decided to host a you know Mr. Tall and Handsome pageant. That would be fantastic. Um, you
I was
know,
actually just discussing this with someone last night, and they're saying that people most likely to be listened to in an argument or in a debate are tall, male, they have a British accent.
British.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, maybe not British, not like a London accent, but
Oh, okay.
that's like that tends to be something that they find pleasant and more persuasive, and um, also if they speak quickly. I'm
Really?
wondering if it's like we also talked about like maybe does this just mean it's like a subconscious thing that people just listen to the man? Because like obviously colonization was a serious thing, and maybe people got used to listening to tall British guys. But is it like something that's subconscious in our nature? Like even before major colonization, like I took a class on ancient Chinese art, and all the faces are like completely white, tons of makeup, like very small red lips. Just like there's definitely a certain um, desired trait and description of someone, and it's like the kind of more plump face, the rounded eyes, like a very specific body type, and this went for men too. So I mean, it's not just women, but like I feel like having those standards in society when we're trying to promote diversity is definitely it seems like more of a negative thing than a positive thing, and I feel like it's been going on for a very long time.
All right. So something to the effect of um, continuing the way that we assert, give our attention. I can't really word it very well. I see where you're coming from, though. Um, I, I just like. I guess we should wrap up this mini talk. In closing, I'd like to say that um, beauty pageants, beauty competitions are not irrelevant. They have value in that we can define what they are today. In the past, they did conflate ideas of, what is femininity, and I'm pretty sure we don't abide by those same tenets today. So
Yeah,
the power is in the platform. I think that we can keep the platform and change the way we see it. We can see it as like a platform to give voice and to redefine what beautiful is.
yeah.
All right. Closing statement?
I'd say that I'd like to say that I'm fairly proud of what ideals are starting to become, like being smart and intelligent and personality, that kind of thing. That's all very positive because I feel like even if you were born unfortunately like, oh, you think you're really ugly, that is not stopping for you from becoming a smart, intelligent, and pleasant person. I feel like anyone can do that. And as long as you got that, that's perfect.
All right. So we'll end this talk here. We might pick it up with even more people and make the talk even more interesting. Um,
Yeah.
this has been Silvio D. Linson.
And Oladiu.
Hola, do. All right, and see you guys.
I'll see you later.